So today I want to look at something a little bit different. Well, not that different. A contemplative practice that is from the 16th century, and it's from, what's his full name? St Ignatius of Loyola. Yeah, his name almost sounds like YOLO. Loyola. St Ignatius of Loyola. Yeah, I can't say his name. It's too difficult to pronounce. He was a 16th century priest. He co-founded the religious order that you might have heard of, known as the Jesuits, but it's actually called the Society of Jesus. So I think we've recently had a pope who was a Jesuit pope. I'm not sure. I don't follow the popes all that much. But St Ignatius wrote a book in 1548 called Spiritual Exercises. And in this book, it was just a set of meditations and prayers and other practices that we thankfully still have 500 almost years later. And one of those, which became kind of a cornerstone of the Jesuit movement, is called the Daily Examen. So in the Jesuit tradition, it was an essential part of the daily life of the Jesuit priests. They would twice a day at midday and then again at the end of the day, they would go through this practice called the Daily Examen to develop mindfulness, to connect with God, to consider things. And it's kind of like we talk about mindfulness meditation as a way to help people with mental health stuff now. Well, this was like mindfulness meditation way before it was cool. This is like super hipster mindfulness meditation, 500 years old, twice a day, sitting back, reflecting on what's going on and being in that moment with Jesus. So that's kind of cool. So it is mostly a 5-step process. Some people have 6, but anyway, I'm not an expert in this, but I do think that it's a beautiful practice. So I want to teach us how to do that. And then I have a short video that I'm going to put on that is like a guided daily examen that we can do together. So my 5-step breakdown of the daily examen starts with be still. Which is kind of how, if you go back through all of the contemplative practices that we've looked at over the last couple of years, they basically all start with be still. They all start with this idea that we need to be aware of God's presence. So we can do that by just taking long, deep breaths and then just watching our breath go in and out. One of the things that I like to think of when practicing this idea of just being still is breathing in and just saying, Lord, you are here. And breathing out and saying, I am with you. Lord, you are here and I am with you. Just to focus ourselves. And then the second step after be still and becoming aware of God's presence is to give thanks. It's pretty straightforward. The daily examen isn't meant to go for an hour. You can do this in 2 or 3 minutes. The video I have is a bit longer. It's 12 minutes almost. But it is meant to be a quick process that you can do. Certainly some people choose to do this many times a day just to refocus and recenter. So we have be still and become aware of God's presence and then give thanks. So that is the idea of just reviewing the day up to that point with gratitude. And if you have the daily examen as a regular practice in your life, you're not having to think back to what happened a week ago or a month ago or a year ago. It is a daily practice. So it's saying right now, in the last few hours, in the moments of this day, what can I be thankful for? What kind words have people shared? What experiences have I had? Did I have a great cup of coffee? I like to start my day with a great cup of coffee, and then I can examine and be grateful for my great cup of coffee. This is a good thing. What a spiritual exercise. Good coffee and gratitude is a deeply spiritual exercise in my opinion. But what else? Like you can think about thoughtful acts of other people, or you can think about how it's a beautiful day outside, and it can be a beautiful day if it's raining or if it's sunny. Like it doesn't matter. It's about having a heart full of thanks to God for the beautiful things in our world, the things in nature and the joys that we have and the small moments of beauty. So we be still and become aware of God's presence, and we give thanks and we review our day with gratitude. And then we reflect on our day. So the third point is to reflect. And in particular, part of the daily examen is to say, be very aware of your emotions. Pay attention to what your control center of your body is saying to you. Because emotions are not good nor bad. They are simply feedback that your body and your heart are giving you about what's going on in your life. So name the emotions that you are feeling. Maybe grab like the emotion wheel that I've had floating around for a while and try to identify exactly what you're feeling. And as they come to your attention, hand those emotions over to God. And consider the actions that you've had. So remember, we're reflecting. So it's not just about your emotions. So reflect on the behaviors that you've had during the day and ask yourself, did I choose the Jesus way? Did I do what Jesus would do? You know, the what would Jesus do kind of wristband thing. Again, Ignatius was way ahead of his time. Did we approach each moment and each interaction and each opportunity of that day and put Jesus first? And then as you reflect on those moments and as you reflect on those emotions, you can either take the opportunity to rejoice about the way you chose to respond, or you can take the opportunity to repent about the way you chose to respond in certain circumstances. So it's about just daily examining your actions and your emotions and your feelings and the way you treat other people and bringing that to Jesus. So be still and become aware of God's presence. Give thanks and review the day with gratitude. Reflect, especially paying attention to your emotions. And then fourth on my list is pray. Just draw out one particular feature of your day and pray about that. Choose one of the joys or one of the sorrows or one of the concerns or the aspects of your life and just pray into that particular thing and hand over that either concern to God or celebrate that joy with God. It's just about taking this moment for one thing instead of a multitude of things. Just choose one. So be still, give thanks, reflect, pray, and then finally on my list of 5 I have hope. Look forward to the remainder of your day or tomorrow. Look into the future and have joy and expectation about that. Share with God those expectations and the hopes that you have for the hours ahead, and pray for his goodness to be in your day and in your actions and in your thoughts. How does his kingdom come in your life? How does his will get done through your life? So pray that prayer, your kingdom come, your will be done. And so it's a really simple, 5 steps. Be still, give thanks, reflect, pray, and have hope. And the idea is that it just helps you to center yourself. And I think that it can help you to develop intimacy with God and trust with God. This is an exercise in saying, I want you to be a part of my life. So it builds trust. And over time it becomes, even as a ritual, it becomes a beautiful ritual. One of the things I read in the last week that I thought was really striking was from Mike Frost, and he talked about the just how I think it was how the lack of liturgy in the evangelical movement has really costed a lot during this COVID time. And that is to say, we don't have the structures or the history. We haven't held on to those ideas of prayers that are written down and things that, like we want everything to be fresh and new and big and exciting. And then when we're all locked in our homes by ourselves, we lack some of the liturgy, the structures or the practices to just simply connect with God. So the Daily Examen is to say, hey, let's go back and find this. It's 500 years old, but for us, there are a lot of people who didn't lose it, but we have. So let's rediscover some of these practices, these contemplative things during this time where we are more isolated. And this is definitely one of them. It says, without the lights, without the sermon, without a podcast, without everyone turning up, I am just going to sit and I am going to be still and be aware of God's presence. And I am going to give thanks as I review my day. I'm going to give thanks for how God is involved in that. And I'm going to reflect on my emotions and my actions and be responsible to those, both to the joys, but also where I need to repent. And I'm going to pray and I'm going to have hope and look forward to tomorrow. It's a place of contemplation and peace and gratitude. And it can help us to worry less and discern more and grow in our relationship with God. So a simple practice, but if it becomes part of our day, it can be a very powerful practice of mindfulness and prayer.